We're Janae and Jason, two ocean-loving Aussies who took a leap 2 years ago, moved across the other side of the world and bought a sailboat with no experience to begin our voyage sailing the world. We've now sailed countless nautical miles through the Med as we continue our journey west to new countries. We create videos of our travels with the support of our patrons. We've had a great time in Australia, catching up with friends and family, sailing some of Australia's best sailing grounds, and doing some work to continue our journey sailing around the world. It's been 3 months and we've missed the worst part of winter in Europe, so it's time to make our way back to Escapade and get her ready for the upcoming season. We've got some exciting upgrades to do. Oh, and Jason shaved his head. We arrived back at the boat eager to see her for the first time in over 3 months. One job we did outsource while we were away was our boat stripes and name decals. We wanted to put the stripes back on as it makes the boat look more sleek. We also wanted to start changing our colour scheme from the original navy blue to a mid-grey, which is much more modern. Hopefully in the very near future, we'll be updating our very old outdoor canvas to the same colour. When we arrived inside, reality definitely set in early. We found some mould inside, as when we arrived at the boatyard before we left the boat, we had plenty of rain and moisture in the air. We also had it on some clothes, so job number 1 was to clean the interior, wash all of our clothes that we left behind, and restock the fridge. We got some new membranes while we're in Australia. Set us back $1,000 for 2 membranes. So water makers are fun, but they cost lots of money when you do need to replace things. But these only have to get replaced like every 5 to 10 years, so it's worthwhile in the long run. Job number 2 on the list was to head to a place called Jumbo, which is like a Kmart, to organise our boat a little better with some storage stuff. We bought things like storage baskets and containers, non-slip mat for the inside of cupboards or on tables, suction cup shelves to utilise the space between our bathroom mirror, and some collapsible pieces, which I highly recommend to save storage space on a boat. They can be hard to find but are much cheaper in store than in websites like Amazon. Job number 3 was to sand and revarnish the exterior wood, being the cockpit table, which we forgot to dismantle and store inside during the winter, and the safety rails and odd bits of wood. We bought this 2-part varnish, which was pricey at €58. However, we were told by friends that it's worth investing in as it lasts much longer than the cheaper stuff. The currency at the moment is really bad. The conversion between Europe and Australia, I think for $1 Australian dollar you get like 62 euro cents. So I think it's similar to what it was when we bought the boat, and then it went up to about 67, 68, and now it's back down. So it makes a big difference when you're spending, you know, a decent amount of money. So anyway, I'm sure we'll be back at the chandlery later. Always the way. We always take like 10 trips, but this is what we need for now. Jay sanded all the varnish off with the orbital sander, which took way longer than expected. I'm just about to varnish. Jason has just finished sanding. It's taken most of the day, but we have sanded the handles, sanded the table, and all of the side handles that go down the boat. I don't really know what they're called, but you know what I mean. Just show you quickly, this is what it looks like before we varnish. This has been sanded and just wiped down with terps. Same as this wood here. It looks way better already, just even being sanded from what it was. This was all, had like really thick varnish on it, but it was all chipping away from being left in the sun over the winter. We forgot to cover it. Anyway, this really needed to be done. This was like grey wood, so it looks like amazing even before it's been varnished. Then it was time to start varnishing, leaving about 12 to 24 hours between coats. Okay, so this is the first coat of varnish. Looks pretty good already. So much better than what it used to look like. So now this is the underside of the table that flips out to make the table bigger. So I've got to do the other side because this is important to look nice as well. And probably not so necessary because this is the underneath part that gets drilled on. But I will do the underneath part of these, seeing as we've got them off as well. And then late this afternoon, I can redo the bits that have already been done. I just want to show you quickly. So that's the piece that's just been varnished. And then that's the piece that hasn't. So satisfying to look at. Anyway, back to it. All right, she's on. Now to wait till this afternoon, and then I can do this again. Other sides of that, other sides of that. I actually quite enjoy varnishing. Anything that's like satisfying to do, I really enjoy doing. But you just have to be super patient because you've got to wait so long between coats, but that's all right. I'll get on to some other jobs while I wait. When leaving a boat for a longer period of time, the obvious thing to do is store your sails away to protect them from the elements. It's also required in boatyards to take them down to avoid them catching in strong wind and potentially knocking your boat and other boats over. So job number 4 was to clean and raise the sails and reinstall the running rigging. Okay, so change of plans. We were cleaning the sails, but as we went to do it with scrubbing brushes, they were kind of starting to fall apart a little bit. And then we tried to do it with microfibers, but the microfibers are even sticking to the roughness of the sails. And we were really cleaning them to try and get like dirty brown marks off them, which it looks like we're gonna have to use bleach for. But because they're so old and starting to kind of flake a little bit, we just thought, yeah, putting bleach on it's not going to be a good idea because it's going to eat away at the small kind of little tears that are all in it everywhere. So yeah, we decided we're just going to raise the sails and not worry about washing them. We could maybe get a hose on them or something just to give them like a bit of a rinse off with the salt that could be on them. So we are raising them. We're using sail tape to repair some of the smaller kind of rips in them. Putting the battens in, and then we'll pack them away. So yeah, I guess that makes that job a lot quicker. Also, we're about halfway out the mast with the sail and it got caught and wouldn't go up any further, and then we noticed that our lazy jack lines were in the way. So we've had to bring it back down and fix those up first to then re-raise it. And also our little track that the halyard goes through is broken. It's all cracked there. So we're going to pull this through and pop it through another side that hasn't been used. And the lines are also getting quite old and it's swollen on the end here and starting to fray. So we're going to have to cut this just a little bit, which is fine because this is way too long anyway, just so we can get it through the jammer. So yeah, everything's starting to get old and fall apart. It's crazy what 3-4 months in the yard does to your boat too. Like we did cover up the winches and other bits and bobs. A lot of these kind of bits and pieces, I guess, start to get brittle and even in the winter sun. Alright, we've raised the sail, put it back in the tracks, repaired a few little tears just with tape, and she looks alright.
Janae's literally the pro bowline tyler. What? Bowline tyler? Tyre.
Just trying to get the lines in the right spot. It's Still learning. We haven't re-rigged our boat since we bought it, so. Job number 5 was to mark our chain and then load our chain and anchor back into the locker. So we have decided to keep with what we had last time. When we first got the boat, this didn't make sense to us, and then all of a sudden we figured it out. Most people mark their chain every 5 meters or every 10 meters, or, you know, some 5 meters up to like 20, 25 meters and then 10 meters from there. And we were confused on what the hell this meant. But it actually makes life really easy, because if you're in 5 meters of water, you know to put the red down. So this is more the depth of water rather than the amount of chain.
So it's 4 times the amount of chain.
Yeah, so yeah, your scope is 4 times. So if you're in 6 meters, you do the yellow and so on. So we were going to change it, but we're getting really confused and trying to figure out where we should do 5 meter and 10 meter increments. So we're just going to follow what we did last time, and now because our chain is longer, we're going to add 2 more on. So we're going to add if you're in 18 meters depth, and then if you're in 20 meters depth, and keep following the color codes. So 18 meters depth will be the white, and then 20 meters depth will be red again. So yeah, we did measure it out in 10 meter increments, and then a couple of 5 meter at the start where the cardboard is. So yeah, we're gonna have to change that now. But we can do our first couple, because this is our 20 meter increment, which is for 5 meters depth of water. Anyway, we'll get to it. Another random job I wanted to get done while we're in the boatyard and not using our own toilet was to sand and repaint our toilet seat, which was looking a little worse for wear. Alright, got a bunch of bare wood. So I sanded it with 40 grit, very old pieces of 40 grit sandpaper. And then 150 or 120. And then I went over with 320 on the block, just to try and smooth it out so there isn't those little kind of like sandpaper circles. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I'll just wipe it down with acetone, let that dry, and then get the first coat of primer spray paint on.
Got a special package.
What is it?
I think it is what I think it is. You know what I mean?
What's that?
I think we've got some PROPSPEED. Oh shit.
Oh. And what's PROPSPEED?
Well, it makes your boat go 20 times faster. Now it stops the growth, barnacles and growth onto your propeller and your shaft. So we're pretty excited about it, to be honest.
Prop wasn't looking too good after last season of not having this, so we're pretty excited to try this out.
So you got your propeller clean, your propeller white, step 1 and 2, and then you have your primer hardener, that'll be your primer, etching primer base, and then your clear coat. It's basically like a silicone. Yeah.
It feels like it, doesn't it, when it's on and dry?
Contains silicone.
That's what makes it feel rubbery when you touch it and nice and shiny. And we're going to have a nice fancy gold propeller because of this stuff. So it's going to look cool too.
That's actually the primer that makes it that gold looking.
So the primer's gold and then the top coat is clear over the top, is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. So if you buy the kit, it comes with everything that you need to finish your prop. So we've got step 1, which is the Pro Clean wipes. So you use this to clean down the surface before you start everything else. Then we've got the prep wipes. So wipe down all metal surfaces with the prep wipe. Immediately wipe with a clean dry rag and repeat until there is no residue. Prep contains no corrosion inhibitors, so proceed with step 3 as soon as possible. So this is a critical step in the PROPSPEED application process to maximize the adhesion to the metal surfaces. It improves longevity, so prep improves the longevity of PROPSPEED, and it cannot be substituted for any other product, so you definitely need this. Then we have the etching primer base. So this is 3A, and then you've got 3B that you have to mix with it. So this is a hardener. So you apply this first, mix it with the hardener, and it must be used within 6 hours. Then you've got number 4, which is your clear coat and contains silicone. We have felt someone else's prop that has PROPSPEED on it that he actually tried to grind off and couldn't even get off. That's how good this stuff is. They've now come up with a product that you can just paint on and it literally eats away at it and you can just scrape it off. But yeah, this stuff is awesome. So yeah, then you pop this clear coat over the top. Let's get to it.
All done. She's nice and shiny. She's looking sexy.
We'll keep you updated throughout the season with how our PROPSPEED is working for us. That's it from us today, but we still have one very important job left to do next week before we splash the boat and begin our 2023 season. Stay tuned to see how we transform Escapade's bum from this to this.